So, will I finally be able to run those Czech Railjet passenger wagons I picked up a couple of weeks ago? Come back after the titles and find out. Hey everybody, Anthony Dodge, Mile Train Outsider, the American Outsider here with a new First Impressions video. This time on my new Roco Loco. This is another Class 1116 Taurus, the ES64, commonly known as the Taurus. And this is a Railjet locomotive. It just isn't in the Railjet livery. So this will make a nice substitute if I ever want to rest my other Railjet. But also, until I can find an actual Czech Railjet locomotive again in 3-rail, this will work. I've been guaranteed by Roco USA, and my Model Bond Shop Lipo workers that this will work with my Czech Railjet cars. We'll find out at the end of this video. Anyhow, this is model number... This is model number 78509, and it is in the livery of ÖAMTC. So I'm going to go ahead and get it installed on my Central Station 3, and then you guys can all take a look at it when it's on the track and get a look at its livery and everything else. So let's get to it. Okay, so here it is. My new Taurus, the ES64 unit. That is a Railjet locomotive, and it's in the livery of the ÖAMTC, or the ÖAMTC, which is the Österreichisches Automotoren Touristclub, which is the Austrian Automotive and Motoring Touring Club. And it's kind of similar to AAA in America. And this is a special livery, and actually I've seen a couple of these in Austria just this past summer. But typical of Roco, very nice detail, very nice coloring. That yellow is a very bright, vibrant yellow. I hope it comes out on camera here in 4K. We'll look at the top. Nice detailing. It doesn't have a lot of detailing, but I don't think this particular version of the Railjet has a lot of detailing in it anyhow. And that's going to be an issue when I run it with my Czech, because the Czech Railjets would always have 4 pantographs to cover the various electrical systems that they cross. But at least it's something that will pull my Czech Railjet cars for now, and we just won't worry about faithfulness to reality in that case. But very nice detailing. Now this came in at 461 grams, so it's in the middle low end of my locomotive. So we'll see if that is a factor in its running later, because weight is one thing, but pulling power is also strength of the motor. So we'll see how it handles the incline. But just a very nice looking locomotive. We'll come in close and really let you get the details. Immer für Sie da, egal womit Sie unterwegs sind. We are always there for you regardless of what way you are traveling. So it's definitely unique and different. It comes with 28 sound and light functions. So we have directional lighting as always. We have cab lighting. We have all kinds of sound functions, horns and whistles. That is your high beams and low beams. And I'm not going to go through all the functions now. So what I want to do is I want to take some time and run this in and you can listen to the engine starting up. But let's let this run in, and then we will bring it out and give it a run in, and then we'll do a little bit of a mini running session and see how it works with the Railjet cars that I have. So we have run it in. I've just set it on the track to do this little intro shot. Now it's time to give it its run in. Again, this came in at 461 grams, so it's kind of in the middle of my Locos in terms of weight. One thing I do want to point out, I didn't mention earlier, when I was installing this, the manual says that it was a Märklin Motorola based chip, decoder, but it isn't. It is DCC. Now this happens now and then with Roco, where they plan on putting it in a chip, and instead it's Märklin Motorola. When I tried to program it in as my central station couldn't find it. As soon as I programmed it as DCC, it set it to a default address of 3, and all the functions were working, everything was working, and then I changed the address on it, and everything's working. But again, the manual said it was supposed to be an chip, but they must have changed it after they went to manual, because it is DCC. Now that's not an issue, because pretty much any of the control systems read both. The only negative is that I have to do a little bit more manual work to install it. That is, I have to tell it to read address 3 instead of where it automatically reads the decoder. So let's get it on the way, and let's see how it's going to handle the incline. Running in, it was very smooth. We're going to run it at about 70 kilometers an hour on its first trip through. And then second trip through, we'll crank it up. But here it goes. Maybe I'll turn the running sounds on. Passing a fellow Austrian Taurus. Like many of my new Rocos, it has a preset build up to speed. That color really does stand out in my opinion, with all my reds and whites and blues and some of the other colors. Like my metronome, which is on the track. Actually, it's pulled off right now. All right, it's coming into the big curve and getting ready to head up the incline. It's on the straightaway. And the incline begins right around the middle of these trees here. So there it is. You can see the board. Nice and smooth. Let's see how it handles getting to the top. Now, again, it is not carrying any freight with it, but first few times I like to let it do it without it. All right, handled that nice and smooth. So bear with me while I increase the speed. This time we're going to do 90 kilometers an hour. Again, passing its fellow Austrian Railjet Taurus. And again, this is a Railjet locomotive. It's not just a Taurus. It is set for the standards of Railjet. It does pull Railjet cars. But I'm going to have it pulling... You have to see me pull off the camera here. But I'm going to have it pulling these Czech Railjet cars, even though technically it would never do that as far as I know. This is only pulls Austrian as far as I understand. I could be wrong, and feel free to correct me. So here we go. Nice and smooth. Up the incline it goes. And through Dumb and Horse Station. And bringing it to a break. Okay, so there we go. First impressions. Nice and smooth, steady runner, quiet. A lot of things to like. I'll find out more as I see it pulling wagons. Or coaches in this case. It's been an odd journey deciding on getting this. I had no plans on getting this locomotive, but I've been told it works with these Railjet wagons with the PCB connections, the 4-pin connectors. So we'll see. But first impressions, definitely quiet, nice and smooth, seems to be very good at speed. And by that what I mean is that when it's running scale 70 kilometers an hour, it really has that sense it's running at 70 scale kilometers an hour, which is about 45 miles an hour. So definitely, I've got a couple of locos that definitely run faster and one that really seems to run slower. So anyhow, having said all that, I'm happy with it, and hopefully it'll do the job, because as of wrapping up this video, I have not connected it yet. That's going to come after I finish up here. We will see how it handles things. Okay, wrapping this video up. It does connect and it does pull, but it does not have the function to tell these cars to light up. I'm gonna look into it and find out what to do about it, because as you see, there's no running lights on the Steuerwagen. But at least I can run them.